This conference will now be recorded.
Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Are you able to hear my voice?
Yes, ma'am. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning. Why you people take so much of time to join the class? We have only 40-minute class. We will be waiting for 10 minutes for the students to join only. So in 30 minutes, what class I can take, you tell me? Hmm? So now onwards, please students try to join within 2 to 3 minutes so that we can have a sufficient time to take the class. Okay. So today I'll continue with my the previous class. That is, we started with the tetracycline, that is protein synthesis inhibitor. Previous class we discussed about what are the adverse effect of this
So what are the
tetracycline.
R's, sir? R.
So basically, these tetracyclines have
Yes, sir.
gastric discomfort. They cause basically epigastric distress will be there, and also it is because of the irritation. And since there is epigastric distress, that will be the reason for patients to discontinue with these drugs.
Yes, sir.
I'm having throat infection, so I'll be speaking little slowly. Okay, please cooperate. And this, whatever the epigastric distress which can be seen with tetracycline, can be avoided if you take the drug along with the food, but you should never mix with the dairy product like a milk and the curd or other part. Then we already seen that these tetracycline also have the deposits in the brain and the uh, primary dentition, especially which occurs during the development and
Yes, sir.
the children. So because of that, this causes the discoloration and also hypoplasia of a teeth, and sometimes it leads to a temporary thinning, means the teeth will not be growing properly. Then they also have a lot of hepatotoxicity. So hepatotoxicity means it leads to the liver damage. Okay. This is basically the step of the fatal hepatotoxicity occurs if pregnant woman is receiving this tetracyclines, especially at the higher dose. And but previously, the patient should have been having the pyelonephritis. During that condition, the tetracycline can cause the fatal hepatotoxicity. Then tetracycline also causes a phototoxicity. Phototoxicity, so basically it leads to the sunburn. So whenever these patients receive tetracycline, if they go out the sun or if they expose to the ultraviolet rays, this leads to the severe sunburn. And this toxicity basically happens with the tetracyclines, doxycycline, and also bemiclozine. Now we move on to the second class of a protein synthesis inhibitor called glycyl cyclines. So this is the, apart from the tetracycline, this is the second class of protein synthesis inhibitor antibiotics. See that only one drug is there in the glycyl cycline, that is called as tigecycline. So the name of the drug which comes under glycyl cycline is the tigecycline. And basically, if you see the structure, it is a derivative of the minocycline. And this is the first generation of this category, that is the glycyl cyclines. So this tigecycline is basically is used for the treatment of a complicated skin and the soft tissue infection. So whenever there is a severe bacterial infection on the skin and also the soft tissue, or it may be involved in the complicated intra-abdominal infection, or it may be because of the community-acquired pneumonia. So during this condition, the tigecycline can be used to eradicate the bacteria. So what is the mechanism of action of this tigecycline? So this tigecycline basically exhibits almost all the protein synthesis inhibitors are bacteriostatic in nature. They are not bactericidal. So the tigecycline also exhibit the bacteriostatic action. And what is the mechanism? It binds to the 30S ribosomal subunit of the microbes. So this binding is reversible, and thereby it inhibits the bacterial protein synthesis. We will move on to the what are the different microorganisms which are susceptible to this tigecycline. So it is called as the antibacterial spectrum. So this tigecycline exhibits really a broad spectrum activity, acts on the range of bacteria. So that includes, the first one is methicillin resistant staphylococci. It is also called as MRSA. Then it is also useful in the multi-drug resistant streptococci and in the vancomycin resistant enterococci. Extended spectrum beta lactamase producing gram negative bacteria and Acinetobacter baumannii and many other anaerobic organisms. So basically, this tigecycline acts on the microbes which are resistant to other antibiotics. So methicillin resistant staphylococci, multi-drug resistant streptococci, vancomycin resistant enterococci, and also the beta lactamase producing gram negative bacteria and Acinetobacter baumannii. So these are the microorganisms, and also some anaerobic organisms also susceptible to this tigecycline. And this tigecycline will not be active against Morganella, Proteus, Providencia, or Pseudomonas species. So you cannot use this tigecycline for the infection because of the Morganella, Proteus, Providencia, and also the Pseudomonas species. So resistance also occurs with this tigecycline antibiotic also, and the resistance developed to this tigecycline to overcome the basically this tigecycline has been developed or synthesized in order to overcome the emergence of these tetracycline class resistant organisms. Since we have seen the major drawback of these tetracyclines for the resistance, and that utilize efflux pumps and liposomal protection to confer residence. So basically, we understood in the tetracycline resistance. So here we understood that they have their own resistance factor. So because of that, the drug will not accumulate in the body, and thereby also they have active efflux. So whatever the drug comes inside the microorganism will be thrown out, and also they do have a plasmid encoded resistant TET8. So because of that, all this tetracycline showed the resistance. So because of that, this tigecycline has been developed. And resistance to this tigecycline has been observed is a primary attributed to overexpression of efflux pump. So even though the tigecycline has been developed in order to treat the tetracycline resistance microorganism, even for this tigecycline also there is a resistance. So why that resistance is because of the overexpression of the efflux pump. So when there is an overexpression means the number of pumps which are present in the cell will be increases. So once
No, sir.
this efflux pump increases, it throws the drug outside, so thereby the tigecycline will not be accumulated in the bacteria, and hence the resistance developed to the tigecycline. Then we'll understand what is the pharmacokinetics of this tigecycline. So basically, this tigecycline can be given through intravenous infusion. So once if you give the intravenous infusion, this antibiotic, that tigecycline, exhibits a large volume of distribution. Meaning is that it can accumulate in the different tissues. Then it can penetrate all the tissues well, but achieves low plasma concentration. Meaning is that it will be deposited in the tissue, but it will not be available in the blood. So because of that, the plasma concentration will be low, but they are inside the cells or the tissues. So because of that, this tigecycline is a poor option for the bloodstream infection. So meaning is that if any bacterial infection which is affecting the blood cannot be treated with the tigecycline, since the tigecycline will be not there in the blood, it will be stored in the tissues. And if you see the elimination, how this drug will be eliminated from the body. So the primary route of elimination is basically the biliary or the fecal, not through the renal. So because of that, what happens is you don't have to go for any dose adjustments, and is not necessary for these patients who are having a renal impairment. However, as we saw, these drugs can have an impact on the liver. So dose reduction is recommended whenever there is a severe hepatic dysfunction, because the drug is metabolized in the liver. So
I minus I
No.
into S.
adjustment is not required for the renal impairment, but the dose adjustment is required for the hepatic dysfunction. Then what are the adverse effects of this tigecycline? So tigecycline is basically associated with the significant nausea and the vomiting. So people who take this drug, they feel very uncomfortable, and they also causes acute pancreatitis. Uh, that is inflammation of the pancreas, but it is acute. So immediately, without before they understand, there will be a severe inflammation in the pancreas. So this can lead to fatality. Fatality means death can occur if it is not monitored properly. And elevation in liver enzymes and serum creatinine may also occur.
No, sir.
So it can increase the activity of the liver enzymes, and serum creatinine level also can increase. So this tigecycline can cause a mortality in the patients, and this mortality with the tigecycline is literally higher than compared to any other antibiotics. So hence it's very important you have to give a boxed warning state. So in the tablet or in the injection, there should be a box and it should be written clearly saying that there is a warning state that tigecycline should be reserved for use in a situation when alternative treatments are not suitable. So this is very important. So why it is important? Because the mortality rate with this tigecycline due to the acute pancreatitis will be very high. Hence, the tigecycline is not a drug of choice for any infection. Only this can be used when all other antibiotic therapy is not at all giving any benefits. So this warning should be there on the medication, so that the physician and someone who is there, the healthcare people, will take care of this, and they'll use only and also with the precaution. Then if you see other side effect apart from this, it is almost similar to the the tetracycline. So what are those? Basically, they are photosensitivity. So a person can, if they exposed to the sun or ultraviolet rays, then they do have a sunburn. Then they do have a pseudo tumor cerebri. So pseudotumor cerebri is it is not basically a tumor, but it is like a tumor. There is a growth inside the cerebrum, and also there will be a discoloration of the permanent teeth when used during the tooth development, especially in the children. And if it is given in the pregnancy, it can cause a harm to the developing fetus. Then this tetracycline can also decrease the clearance of the warfarin. So what is warfarin? What type of a drug is warfarin? Hello. What is warfarin?
Antiplatelet.
Yeah, basically it is an anticoagulant. So whenever you are administering this antibiotic along with the warfarin, so what the tigecycline cause, it decreases the clearance. Means the warfarin will not be eliminated out of the body. So hence there will be chances of bleeding, heavy bleeding. So hence it's very, very important whenever you're co-administering with the warfarin with the tigecycline, the international normalized ratio, that is to tell that the platelet activity should be always monitored and to check is there any serious actions. Then we'll move on to the other protein synthesis inhibitor, aminoglycosides. So aminoglycosides are important antibiotics in the protein synthesis inhibitor. So if you compare other protein synthesis inhibitor, aminoglycosides or bactericidal. So generally all the protein synthesis inhibitor are bacteriostatic except the aminoglycosides. So aminoglycosides are bactericidal, but the exact mechanism for this bactericidal actions of this aminoglycosides are not known. And these aminoglycosides are basically used for the treatment of very serious infections. So that serious infection are due to aerobic gram-negative bacilli, but their clinical utility is limited due to their serious toxicity. So the aminoglycoside have severe ototoxicity and the nephrotoxicity. Because of that, aminoglycosides will be kept only for very serious infections due to aerobic gram-negative bacilli. So now we'll understand what is the mechanism. So all the protein synthesis inhibitor basically they bind to the subunit of the ribosome. So even the aminoglycoside they basically bind to the 30S subunit, and because of they bind to the 30S subunit, they're distorting its structure. The ribosomal structure will be changed, and because of that, they cause misreading of the mRNA. So the mRNA will not be read properly. Hence, there is no proper translation of protein happens. So now we'll understand in detail what is the mechanism. So the susceptible gram-negative organism, so whichever will be responding to this aminoglycosides, what they does is they allow aminoglycosides to diffuse through the poring channels in their outer membrane. So basically, this microorganism they have a poring channel. So this poring channel, aminoglycoside can enter the cell. So these are very specific channels which are present in the bacterial outer membrane. So these organism also have an oxygen dependent systems that transport the drug across the cytoplasmic membrane. So whatever the gram negative organism, they transport this drug and this transport is always oxygen dependent system. So once this aminoglycoside enters the cell, these antibiotic then they bind to the 30S ribosomal subunit, and because of that, the complete ribosome formation will not happen, and it thereby protein synthesis will be inhibited. So there, once it binds to the the 30S ribosomal subunit, it interferes with the assembly of the functional ribosomal operators, or can cause a 30S subunit of the completed ribosomes to misread the genetic code. So there are two mechanisms. After binding to 30S ribosomal unit, the complete functional ribosomal operators may not be formed, or if already it is formed, so it can lead to the misreading of the genetic code. So if there is a misreading of the genetic code, then what happens is whatever the protein which is synthesized is also not the
So here that RV is
normal
only
protein.
G plus.
So then these polysomes become depleted because the aminoglycoside interrupt the process of polysome disaggregation and assembly. So basically, whatever the steps involved in the protein synthesis will be totally affected. So one, by binding to the 30th subunit of the uh, microbial ribosome, these aminoglycoside can interfere in the functional ribosome formation. Or if already ribosome is formed when you give the antibiotic, it can lead to the misreading of the genetic code. And also it interferes in the polysomes. So hence, this aminoglycosides, if you give it a beta-lactam antibiotics like a penicillins and cephalosporins, so they have a synergistic effect, add-on effect, because the beta-lactam antibiotic, what it does, they actually rupture the cell wall of the bacteria. So the cell wall is ruptured, aminoglycoside can easily enter inside the bacterium, thereby it can act on the protein synthesis. So thereby it is an add-on effect. So you give a beta-lactam antibiotic like a different penicillins, like a vancomycin and all those things, or you can combine with the cephalosporin, which causes the cell wall synthesis inhibition. So because of that, the aminoglycoside can enter inside the bacterium and can show the bactericidal effect. So this is how the mechanism happens. So this is basically a bacterial cell. So the aminoglycosides can enter inside the bacterium through the porine channel. So these porine channel will be present in the cell membrane of the bacteria. So through this porine channel, aminoglycoside can enter. So once it enter, what it does is it actually binds to the ribosomal unit. So because of that, there will be a ribosome mutation and modification can happen. So the normal ribosome will be inhibited. So this is the mechanism of action of the aminoglycoside. So we'll come back to this when we'll see the resistance. Then we'll understand what is the antibacterial spectrum. So what are the different microorganisms which are sensitive to this aminoglycoside? So basically, these aminoglycosides are very much effective when you combine for the empirical treatment of infections which are suspected due to the aerobic gram-negative bacilli, especially Pseudomonas aeruginosa. So in order to treat the Pseudomonas aeruginosa infection, this aminoglycoside should be combined, and this combination will be always with the beta-lactam antibiotic called vancomycin. So this vancomycin basically acts on the anaerobic bacteria, and when you combine with the aminoglycoside, they have an additive or the synergistic effect. So additive or the synergistic effect means they combine and then they show the effect on the microbe. So thereby the aminoglycosides are very much effective in treating the aerobic gram-negative bacilli, especially the Pseudomonas aeruginosa. So here if you see in this, resistance also develops to this aminoglycoside. So one mechanism for the resistance for this aminoglycoside is there will be an enzyme called aminoglycoside modifying enzymes. So this enzyme will be produced by the bacteria. So because of this aminoglycoside modifying enzymes, this aminoglycoside cannot bind to the ribosome. So hence there is no inhibition of the ribosomal function. Or there will be another mechanism called cell membrane modification. So the membrane will be modified in the bacteria because of the mutation. So hence there is a reduced uptake. So the aminoglycoside cannot enter the cell, so it will be taken out. Then there is the last mechanism of this aminoglycoside resistance called efflux pumps. So the number of efflux pumps increases on the membrane of the bacteria. So whatever the aminoglycoside which comes inside the cell, it cannot be accumulated. It will be thrown out of the cell through the efflux pump. So because of these three mechanisms, one is because of the aminoglycoside modifying enzyme activity, then second is the cell membrane modification. Due to that, there is a reduced uptake. And the third is increasing in the number of efflux pump on the membrane of the bacteria. Thereby, the drug cannot accumulate inside the bacterial cell. It will be thrown out. So because of all these three mechanisms, the serious resistance developed to the aminoglycosides. Any doubt?
No, ma'am.
Clear? You understood whatever aminoglycosides mechanism? Okay. If you have understood, I will stop here. So next Friday, we'll continue with the other antibiotics. Please feel free if you have any doubt, please let me know so that I can explain to you once again. Any doubt here?
No, ma'am.
No doubt, huh? Okay, then have a good day. So we'll meet on Friday, 11:30. Okay, bye then.